law just went into effect in all schools and libraries in Texas that is going to make their libraries so outdated because it is now virtually impossible for a teacher or a librarian to add a new book to their shelves because now any Joe off the street can say, no, I don't like that book. I challenge it. Take it down. My co-host on the podcast, The Paper Trail, is Lakin Kemp. In addition to being a Kidlit author, she is also a teacher in a Texas public school. Recently, her picture book, Desert Song, won a whole bunch of Texas state awards. And I'm like, oh my God, congratulations. You're going to have so many schools buy your book now. And she's like, no, I won't, because it is virtually impossible to buy a new book from the library. So basically, they took all of these books down from the school libraries. They created this catalog that parents can now review and decide, hey, I don't want my kid to read books X, Y, and Z. That sounds fine, but it also allows anyone who lives in the community to access that same list and challenge the book for immediate removal from the school. So it doesn't go through due process. And the only way it can go back up is if the school board officially approves this book. School board members have like actual day jobs. They're like accountants and real estate agents. So they create these library councils, again, not made of librarians, not made of teachers or experts, often heavily infiltrated by Moms for Liberty. And they are the ones who decide if the book should go back on the shelf. The same is true for any teacher or librarian who wants to buy a new book for the library. Say a librarian sees a new book that's coming out and they're like, oh my God, my district would love this. They can't just buy it anymore. They have to submit a formal application, and that application has to then go to the actual school board meetings that are held every, few months or so, and the school board has to approve the purchase of this new book in this one elementary school. They don't have time for that. They're passing it down to whatever this advisory council says, and a lot of these advisory councils are banning a lot of these books that are written by BIPOC authors, by LGBTQ authors that have any sort of sexuality in it. I'm going to show you a list of some of the books that have been banned in Texas because according to PEN America, there have been 6,870 instances of book banning in the 2024-2025 school year in America. Of those, the majority were coming from Florida, Texas, and Tennessee. Texas had 1,781 book bans. And on that list, you can link to it, are books like Becoming Billie Holiday, Forever by Judy Blume, Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, Miss Peregrine by Ransom Riggs, 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult, Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. That was actually a required summer reading book for my daughter in Pennsylvania. These are not harmful books. These are not explicit books. These are not adult books. These are not books that are damaging the psychology of impressionable little children. These are books that some parent in the community just said, I don't like. So pay attention to what is happening in Texas. Pay attention to the laws that are going through in your individual states. This particular law in Texas, SB 13, was passed in May and it finally went into effect in the school year in September. And laws like this are popping up in a lot of states. It is Banned Books Week. We got to do our part. So pay attention to what's going on in your state and what are you doing to help your community prevent book banning.